Welcome to IGN Plays Live, presented by Disenchantment. Today we are playing World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth on a very fresh character. And when I say fresh, I mean he is ready to go to Kultiris in the Battle for Azeroth expansion. I'm going to be monitoring the YouTube chat, as well as the Twitch chat, as well as the IGN chat, and I'll try and keep up with Mixer. If you have questions about the expansion, about World of Warcraft, about other games, whatever, it's all fair game here. Let's introduce my character, shall we? This is my human warrior. Even though I'm wearing a Horde shirt, I'm playing an Alliance character for this stream. I got some prestigious stuff on. I feel pretty good about my character. I'm playing Fury right now. That's what we're going to roll with for the expansion. I had a very good time in Legion. And Battle for Azeroth is bringing the story back to kind of the heart, the core conflict of Warcraft, which is the Horde versus the Alliance, orcs versus humans. That's something I'm super into. I don't know that I'm into the ways in which it's doing it, but World of Warcraft expansions have been historically good. I mean, people generally like them. I think there's a subsect of the initial vanilla audience that is stuck around and is interested in what the game is now. And I tangentially consider myself a part of that. I'm kind of more into the emergent Tarn Mill, Darkshore kind of thing, but that's not really Warcraft anymore. However, War Mode is in the expansion. So, what's up, chat? Let's read some comments. Is Warcraft 4 confirmed? Bedoing asks. I wish. I really wish it was. We got a bunch of emojis in Twitch. Nice add-ons. Yeah, I have no add-ons on this computer.
Everyone is here.
Hopefully you can forgive me. You don't really need that many add-ons anymore.
Recently, Horde agents broke into the stockades and freed 2 Zandalari prisoners.
Are we getting a little bit of exposition here?
And the prophet.
I'm aware.
We got our King Anduin Rin right there. Oh God!
Only one.
That's not what I wanted to do. Anybody who plays on PC knows that Alt-Z is meant to hide the HUD, but apparently also my command for
a massive Zandalari fleet.
Impossible! It's one of Sylvanas' tricks. It has to be.
Jaina, perhaps you could.
So you guys in chat, what did you think about the pre-Battle for Azeroth event? The whole Sylvanas destroying Teldrassil and the Alliance sacking the Undercity.
Show us what happened.
Oh, I think we're about to get a sweet cutscene. Let's go through this portal.
If the Horde makes allies
Sick.
of the Zandalari, we won't have the power to stop them.
Stormwind honors your service to the Alliance.
I got news for you, Anduin. They are going to make
I must
allies of the
prepare my
Zandalari.
ship. Champion, meet me in the harbor when you are ready to depart.
So, Gen, how are your sea legs?
Steady as ever.
The one thing I will say about the Battle for Azeroth expansion is that I really like the new cast of characters that it's kind of introducing and putting into the forefront. Sylvanas obviously been a character for a long time in Warcraft. Anduin Rin has been at the forefront since Legion. How's my mic, Mitchell? Do I need to move this? Okay. I'm trying to hear myself a little bit better. But Gen Greymane, Jaina, these are all historical characters in Warcraft, but they're definitely kind of a new cast in terms of the central core group. Instead of Varian Rin, instead of Thrall, some of those characters are kind of being moved to the back. And here's Jaina's Kultiran ghost ship. Her father was Admiral Proudmoore, so she kind of has a naval background. We're going to Kultiris, which is the Alliance continent. Gonna get another sick cutscene. Here we go.
Ahoy, ahoy, sweet daughter of the seas.
Ahoy, this child be mine. The Admiral's will, his whole entire world, for as long as stars do shine.
Promise you'll come back?
I'll weather every storm if I know you are waiting for me.
Time to go, Jaina.
I love you, Papa.
Come topside, sweetheart.
Your loving mother will never forgive you, murderer.
Lady Jaina, we've arrived.
Thank you, Captain.
Yeah. What's up, Jaina?
The way forward will not be easy. Be careful who you trust.
You know how to know
This works.
if an NPC is important if they're taller than you. That's how you know. So this is the new capital city in Kultiris for the humans.
Halt! State your intentions!
I am Jaina Proudmoore. I have come for an audience with Lord Admiral Catherine Proudmoore, my mother.
We're taking you to Catherine, all right. You'll answer to her for your crimes against Kultiris.
As you wish.
We can see a Kultiran human. You can tell by his large waistline
Get away! Dangerous prisoners
and
coming
affinity for
through!
cake.
I see the city guard is as disciplined as ever. My father was so proud of them. And now they see me as a criminal.
Mummy, who's that lady?
Come on, we're going home. Now.
I suppose I have earned this.
Get those civilians back! Form a perimeter! It's the daughter of the sea!
Lady Jaina. Is that really her?
She's come back to finish us!
Murderer!
Traitor!
I will suffer what I must. For the Alliance.
Truth Devil II says weird talking animations. The game is almost 15 years old. I think they've done pretty well for what they've had. Though it has its problems, and we'll talk about it. More cutscenes first.
So, my wayward daughter returns to the kingdom she betrayed. Why?
I have come to ask Kultiris for aid. On behalf of the Alliance.
The Alliance? Ha! Where were they when we begged for their help? When our husbands and sons and brothers were slaughtered at Theramore?
Do not blame the Alliance for my actions.
So you admit it? You admit that you were responsible for the deaths of our men?
I was.
So much exposition. Let's dive into my past, shall we?
But I will do anything in my power to ease the suffering of Kultiris.
Catherine, enforce our laws. The punishment for treason
Is death.
is death.
Do you accept the judgment of your homeland?
I accept your judgment.
Mother. You are no daughter of mine.
Do what you will. She is nothing to me.
Can I play now? What? No! Oh man, it's Oblivion. Alright, so we got thrown in jail. We lost all our stuff.
Next round.
Which I'm actually not sure that that's been done before in Warcraft. I know that sounds like a joke, but this might be the first time.
Hit me.
All right, I want to read some. I want to read some comments.
Come on, hit me.
Okay, take one. Bam.
Oh, you brute!
Gotcha.
God!
We're having a row.
Help! Hey, what's going on in there?
Does my Kill Jaden's Burning Wish still work, or do I not have it equipped? I still like have all my stuff, strangely. That's weird. All right, reading comments. Somebody said something very... Yes, Josh Presley. All right. Someone said, I'm starting to think that the British have exclusive contracts for voiceover work. I agree. In fact, I was watching a medieval film last night with John C. Reilly, Tale of Tales, and it was weird. He had an American accent.
Grab your gear and let's pay the block warden a visit. We'll need his keys.
All right. Gotta do my rotation. I forgot to cast Battle Shout. Other folks, there was another very interesting comment. Where was this? Not gonna find it. Oh well.
Damn, the keys are ruined.
Hey James, I got a question.
Yes, please.
From Gilgamesh on Twitch. He says, I've never played before. I started today with a hunter. Is that a good one for someone who has never played?
Yes, the hunter is a good class for somebody who's never played, especially now. It didn't used to be. You used to have to manage like your pet hunger and ammo and all this crap, but now it's actually very forgiving, especially survival. As well as, is it marksmanship? Yeah, I think Beastmaster. I don't know. They're all not insanely complex rotations. There's very few classes that are like obscenely opaque anymore.
Sprinkle some of that powder.
So yeah, hunter's a great class to start with.
Now for a little spark. You may want to take a
Neo Geo says, Luktaro Kar, death to the Alliance.
Stuff packs a punch. Let's get down to
I mean,
the
I'm kind of a
lower
traitor
levels
at this
and find
point,
a
so
way
I can't
out.
really say anything. Somebody said something to the tune of, it's a shame that we have to grind out garrisons again, and I miss when World of Warcraft was streamlined. No, not at all. That's the exact opposite of what I think made World of Warcraft fun. We'll dig into that when we're out on our own questing without an NPC chatting in our ear. But I think World of Warcraft has gone in a specific direction, and in that direction, I think it's superb for what, the direction it's gone. I would just wager that it's gone in the incorrect direction for folks like myself. It's gone in a direction that I can't really get the fun out of it that I used to. A lot of the stuff, like a lot of what we're doing now, fighting mobs, I've been doing this for 14 years. So doing my base rotation on mobs lost its allure a long time ago. Mechanically, raids are still great. There's still some elements of the game that I think appeal to me, but for the most part, I miss elements of Vanilla WoW. Though you can't deny, it looks much better. It plays much better. The moment-to-moment combat is objectively better.
Something touched my leg. Oh, wait. No, it was just my other leg.
This is kind of interesting. So we have an NPC who's kind of our pal here, coming along with us for the ride. Almost like a Diablo 3 follower character, which is not something conventionally that Warcraft has done.
You! Stop right there!
The Sand Queen. Oh, this thing looks cool. Let's have a fight, shall we? All right. Okay.
I'm officially done with this place. Come on, our ride should be waiting for us just up the beach.
Can I leave you? Oh, I can't flying mount. That's right. Better bust out this guy. Man, this looks bad. This used to be the coolest mount. It just doesn't hold up anymore. Did they make PvP grid again? Asks a bunch of weird characters that I can't pronounce on YouTube. I don't think they made PvP grid again. I think I was playing some PvP before in Legion, at the end of Legion.
Like you started a riot.
No
right.
idea what you're
We're doing this
talking about.
because we need to talk.
But I think we've...
Cool. I was playing some PvP at the end of Legion, and it's just not as playable as a game that you would expect for 2018. Things like being able to kill healers isn't really a thing. A lot of classes kind of go back to having infinite mobility, infinite survivability. Arena is a much more balanced place, but I prefer Battlegrounds and open world PvP, and that's kind of like the Wild West. But for Battlegrounds, it's very difficult as a DPS character to like kill a healer, even with 2 or 3 DPS characters, which I just don't think is a great system. For those of you who've played Battlerite, that's a game that you basically heal people, and the more you heal people, the less maximum HP they get gradually and gradually. And I think that should totally be a thing in Warcraft. Boralus Harbor. Okay, we're going to start skipping some cutscenes here. Supreme Marmar 1000 says, I'm hyped for Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, me too, man. I wish it were coming to PC, but I'll totally play it regardless. Great looking zone, though. So far, aesthetically, I really like what's happening.
I've got another question for you, James.
Please.
We were talking earlier, and you were saying how World of Warcraft took the world out of Warcraft.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Oh boy, here we go. Are we doing this now? All right, let's do it
now.
While I'm visiting a bunch of stuff in this town. So what I mean by that is this right here. Although we can't do it right now, and there's a very good reason for that. So this is the Spectral Griffin, and normally you can fly with this mount. In any other place, in all of these continents, you can fly with it. Here you can fly with it. Here you can fly with it. But you can't fly with it here. Why is that? It's because flying mounts were a mistake, and that's just one example of the way in which World of Warcraft was kind of shrunk from this cohesive, single-shard MMO emergent space to a multifaceted, kind of linear narrative storytelling space where Blizzard is more interested in telling you their narrative than letting you make your own narrative. And expressly, another way that happened is portals. Portals in every capital city going from one place to the other. Obviously, this game is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but getting around the world is kind of trivial. And that affects the game in ways you may not expect. One example would be it reduces the ability for class fantasy. In vanilla, if you wanted to get into Wailing Caverns, you had to go to the crossroads if you were the Horde, and then go out on your epic journey, and there was actually a significant amount of combat before you even got to the entrance of the instance. Yes, it was a pain in the butt. However, it was very fun. If you had a warlock, you could summon people to you. So only a couple people had to go out, a scouting party that could then summon other folks to you. And that was a really cool feeling for warlocks. Warlocks can summon people to raids, and yes, they're needed. However, it was just very cohesive. This idea of a class fantasy warlock and using dark magics to summon you to the specific location. And then, actually wrote down notes. The other big part of the single shard experience was aspirational gameplay. One thing Warcraft I think has a difficult time with is motivating you to do some of the things like mythic raids, their mounts. There are cool things that you see for sure, but certainly in classic World of Warcraft, I think just getting to the raid, it was definitely a feat in and of itself. Finding a guild, finding people to play with. It was a world in which you had to work together to succeed. And I'll never forget, there was a Tauren warrior on my server, played on Burning Legion, and there was a Tauren warrior called Goofy Goober, who was a high warlord. And man, I wanted to be this guy. And everything I did in the game was to bring me closer to being like that character. And I think that's a really strong force that I don't necessarily see anymore Granted, that's a lot harder when your game has been out for 14 years, but as we can see right here, you know, we have Gen Greymane, we have this new character, we're introduced to Cyrus, Crestfall. These are cool characters. There's a lot of very cool characters in the lore. However, I'm very much not forging my own adventure right now. I am following a scripted narrative linear adventure that Blizzard is interested in giving to me. And this is okay, I guess, but I would prefer to kind of make my own path. And a lot of those motifs have disseminated into other genres like Destiny, especially with progression. But definitely World of Warcraft is less of a world as it is a series of instanced activities. It is no longer greater than the sum of its parts, even though those parts are very good, raiding, dungeons, PvP, battlegrounds, open world PvP, but it just doesn't feel whole anymore, and as a result, I'm not really interested in playing it. And YouTube breakout. Keep it right here for all things World of Warcraft. What's up, live chat? Sorry I went on a rant there. Had to get that out of the way. So we're listening to Cyrus's Tale. What do you guys think in the chat? Is this exciting or is this exciting? Let's read some chat comments. Neo Geo says, yeah, instances break the immersion in role-playing. I miss it so bad. Classic World of Warcraft is coming back, but who knows if it'll carry the same appeal. I think one of the places where World of Warcraft has gotten objectively better is the combat experience. Being able to see enemy spellcasts, interrupting them, having cool abilities like this, or like this. These are things that you couldn't program into vanilla World of Warcraft, so we're going to be missing those for sure in Classic WoW. But I heard a little allusion from somebody I work with who works at Blizzard, and the illusion goes that Jeff Kaplan plays Rust a lot. And for those who don't know, he's the design lead on Overwatch. Great designer. I got to interview him for Expert Mode. Very cool interview. But Rust is a game where it's very much that single cohesive world. What happens in it has rippling effects, and you're able to go out and forge your own story with your friends. And that was what really drew me in to vanilla World of Warcraft. Maybe I'm projecting my own meaning on what vanilla World of Warcraft was, but I certainly remember a lot of very fun emergent gameplay, going to specific dungeons, getting into PvP on the way there, ganking, stuff like that. All right, so we got here are the portals I was talking about. We got the portal to Ironforge, the Exodar, and Stormwind, and from there you can kind of venture out to various places around Azeroth, like getting to Dalaran through Stormwind. So it's about jumping from place to place to place, which I don't know that I could come up with a better solution for how long this game has been out and how much content there is. But very good question here from Damian Wilson, who says, isn't it time for Blizzard to start over from scratch with a modern sequel to Warcraft? I would say yes, though this is very much their property. There's not a single other game that I can think of that has existed for 15 years, close to 15 years, has been nearly as successful the entire time as World of Warcraft. So I certainly wouldn't throw that down the drain. I like the universe, but I feel like they could take some of the motifs of early World of Warcraft and bring them into a different IP without having to get rid of World of Warcraft. That's absurdity. Getting introduced to the new zones here. Contagious says, money's worth it how I look at it. I don't dispute you there. I think this is a lot of playtime for a significant amount of money. I mean, you are paying $15 a month, don't forget. But the content here I think is great if you're into this kind of thing, if you're into kind of the Diablo 3 PvE focused progression grind that is broadened in scope in terms of activities, then World of Warcraft is still totally the game for you. If you're into emergence, if you're into telling your own story, some of the more conventional parts of MMOs, I don't know that it's for you anymore. Checking out this map, we're going to choose a zone to go to. We're going to choose Stormsong Valley, because I hear there's a fun Easter egg there. Complete some of these quests. What band is that, Mitchell? Oh, by the way, I totally forgot to introduce him. Producer Mitchell Saltzman is here. Say hello.
What's up, everyone?
He's behind the camera.
What band is what?
Come Sail Away. Is
it Styx?
Is it Styx? Is it Foreigner? One of those. I think it is Styx. You can find out on Google right now. Oh God, I keep forgetting I don't have flying. It's very funny because as much as I hate flying, I've totally grown used to the convenience of it. But I would gladly give it up.
Confirming it is Styx.
Confirming it is Styx. Mitchell knows his 80s rock. You know, I never got that Water Strider mount. I really should have. Stormsong Monastery, here we go.
And now everyone in the chat is also confirming
You
that
were
it's
correct.
Styx.
Josh Presley. Zekiel Thor. Dracus X, it is Styx. Morning Light Mountain says, I know nostalgia is high def, but he hit the nail on the head. I remember those city portals ruined everything outside of instances. World suddenly felt small. And at the time, I think it was an interesting thing that we were all looking forward to, right? The idea of flying mounts, the idea of being able to circumvent topography, to circumvent enemy spawns, to circumvent PvP. It was a more convenient World of Warcraft in a game that was not convenient. But I don't know that all of us realized, I certainly didn't at that point, what we were giving up to be able to get that level of convenience, and ultimately what has been milled into a very consistent and, I don't know, you don't have those extreme lows by any means anymore, but you definitely don't have those extreme highs either. I'm going to read another comment here from Neo Geo. WoW defined the genre even if it came after great MMOs like Lineage. Plus, the lore was well built up and used from other RTS games. Absolutely. I think that is exactly why it succeeded. And we can see that in the ensuing rush of World of Warcraft clones, which you could argue are EverQuest clones, but I don't think people were trying to emulate EverQuest as much as they were World of Warcraft. So it was undoubtedly successful. And like I said, it just went in a different direction than I think I would have preferred. That's okay. A lot of people still really enjoy it. A lot of people are digging this. A lot of people are able to get into the fantasy of their own character. Look at all these mages taking a leak into whatever this is. Seagax says, should I get WoW or Dead Cells? There's a complicated answer there, but I would probably say Dead Cells.
I would also say Dead Cells.
Dead Cells is a very good game. If you've never played World of Warcraft, World of Warcraft is a very, very influential game, and I think the impact of World of Warcraft is massive. Dare I say, much more influential than Dead Cells will be. However, for like having fun and picking it up and playing and having a good time, I think Dead Cells might be the... It's weird. It's like comparing apples and oranges. So far in this expansion, I've done nothing but mill around the town of Boralus, talking to NPCs, hearing other people's stories, not experiencing my own story. I think they're setting up a narrative here, which is cool, but this is not really what I want from an MMO. You know, I don't play an MMO to have a good linear narrative experience. I play The Last of Us to have a good linear narrative experience. I'll play Red Dead Redemption. This is not why I'm playing WoW. Really interestingly, before I set up this stream, I was trying to disable all my chats so I don't get spam. And there was a World of Warcraft community manager. Somebody's asking, how do I disable chats? And he's like, it's an MMO. Do you really want to? And I agree. I agree with him. I don't think you should. I feel like that's the nature of an MMO, but I feel like World of Warcraft and its design has kind of like moved away from that. Funny enough. All right, we're gonna kill. Who are we gonna kill? So we're buff. If you want to lose wife/girlfriend/boyfriend, job, friends, life in general, play World of Warcraft for the first time, LOL, says Neo Geo. That's accurate. It has a way of sinking its hooks into it. I'm going to read chat while I do this rotation. It's never too late to start playing WoW. I agree. I think WoW has transcended a place where you need to be worried about missing out on stuff. That's at least a very good thing. Question from Lel Memes. Do I need a controller with Dead Cells, or can I just use a mouse and keyboard? I used a controller. Mitchell, what did you use?
I also use the controller. I can't imagine playing that game on a keyboard.
You got the Stormwake Pendant, which I've had to guess, I imagine would teleport me? No. Okay. All right, let's get out into the world. 30 minutes in. I'd like to go explore and do some interesting things, like kill rare spawns and stuff like that. Let's do another mount. Okay, that was fun. Is it worth getting into WoW now or waiting for Classic WoW? Deeksters asks. Wow, I don't really know. I don't really know the answer to that. If you get into World of Warcraft now, you're going to get used to great combat for World of Warcraft and tab targeting, which you could argue are not great combat systems. A level of visual fidelity and a level of linear narrative fidelity that don't exist in Classic World of Warcraft. If you wait for Classic World of Warcraft, you may be turned off in the first 30 minutes because it's an old game. However, if you stick around, you're going to experience things like a unified world, faction rivalry, emergent gameplay, inconvenient things that are circumvented with player ingenuity. So, if it were me telling you, I would say wait for Classic World of Warcraft. So you don't... It would be like... I think it's a little bit analogous to being like... should I watch the prequels first, or wait for A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi to come to Blu-ray? And there are people out there who like, I don't like, the very few people say this, but I don't like the original Star Wars. They don't look as good as the prequels. Very few people say that, but I think that illustrates the idea of depth versus polish. And World of Warcraft does a lot of really amazing stuff right now. I just can't help but feel that every time that we take a step forward, it's a step in a different direction than I would like it to go. All right, how many am I doing here? Let's get some blockade cleared. All right, this person's not going to listen to me.
So I have a question, Duggan. As someone who doesn't really know a lot about WoW, you're obviously playing as an Alliance character.
Yes.
If you were to jump into this as a Horde character, what would be different from the start?
A very good question. I'd be introduced to a whole different cast of characters. I guess, I don't really know. I guess it's Sylvanas and Bane Bloodhoof, but they're over here. So here's the Alliance starting area, which you can still get to as the Horde, and here's the Horde. Sorry, that's the Broken Isles, Zandalar. Here's the Horde. So the whole zone would be different, which is really cool. I do like that element of it for sure. But narratively, I'd have a different story. And the quests would be different. The zones would be different. There's pretty much twice the amount of content, and I think at some point they kind of expect you to play both. Oops, maybe I shouldn't have just attacked. Are you playing on a normal or RP server? Asks the Stormiest. I'm playing on a normal server. I've never played on an RP server. Never been big into the RP scene. I was big into the emergent PvP scene, though, for sure. Open world PvP I quite liked. It's gotten to a really weird place for a number of reasons, but... Alright, there we go. We got a treasure chest over here. This is something that was introduced in Warlords of Draenor, if I'm not mistaken. And it's kind of this one-time find treasure. I like this a lot. This is an element that I really like. There are definitely some cool additions. This, rare spawn mobs being instanced, I really enjoy. I got a ship in a bottle. Cool. I'm also collecting Azerite for my Heart of Azeroth. Axe says, the last expansion I played with a controller, I think that is the next step. You played the last World of Warcraft expansion with the controller? Huh? Is that possible? Is Warcraft now PvP or PvP at high levels? PvE or PvP at high levels? World of Warcraft primarily is a PvE-focused game, though there is now War Mode, which you can toggle on in your faction's capital city, go out and be instanced with other people, which is cool and an interesting way to revitalize world PvP. There are things like supply drops. I like that change a lot. Other than that, it's structured PvP like arenas, like battlegrounds, though I would say that experience doesn't really hold up in 2018 when you compare it to games like Battle.Right or League of Legends. There's just been a lot of innovation made. I think the diminishing returns on like the max HP when you heal is a great example. This is cool. I like telegraphs. I like having to dodge stuff on the ground. I like abilities that I have to interrupt. The core combat experience, I don't think can be debated that has improved greatly in the last number of years. What was that? Where did that go? Was that? Oh, here it is. Oh, sweet. 210. I'm going to replace this thing. The other thing I really like is their instant legendaries. I think the grind to getting a legendary like Sulfuras, Hand of Ragnaros, or Shadowfang was very, very unforgiving. So the idea of just randomly finding a legendary in the world that fundamentally changes the way that your character plays is really cool. That's an objectively good change. Interesting comment here from LMNOP, and it is still the #1 MMO in the world. It is Blizzard's main source of income. Yeah, I guess. I'd have to see numbers on that. I think so. I think just because you have to pay $15 a month and $40 or $60 for every expansion, right? But it being the #1 MMO in the world is not really that impressive anymore, because MMOs are not a genre that is actively being developed by any studio outside of a Kickstarter project. Certainly, elements of the MMO have disseminated into other genres, but it's beautiful, though. Look at this. I would hit Alt-Z to hide my HUD, but I'd bring up the GeForce experience. I know how to do that. But look at how gorgeous this is. The visual design, ships being integrated into the buildings, the floral elements coming off of here. We have like an anglerfish. There's a theme of the Cultiran humans. I think visually, geez, this game came out in 2004. That is mind-blowing. That's really impressive. Let me go over here and get the flight path first. Set these quests. I like this zone a lot. This is a very pretty zone. Okay, cool. We're gonna... Who's this? There's a citizen inside of another citizen. One I can attack, one I cannot. One is he attacking me? No. Okay. Oh, they're attacking each other. There's a civil protest, and I'm killing people. Crowd dispersed. In my opinion, the Jedi are evil. What do I have to do to... I'm gonna use a whistle. Get out of here! Get out of here! What are you doing? It's all good, Brother Pike. Get rid of that crowd. Don't have to worry about those guys anymore. See what kind of mounts we got. Swift White Hawkstrider from Magister's Terrace. WoW is the only way I can get my Warcraft lore fix, says Killswitch. It's the only place for Warcraft lore after Warcraft 3. So yes, you're right. I don't know that it's a great narrative environment, though. I think that there's very little consequence in what happens in the world. Characters are resurrected and killed, and we fight them multiple times. But undoubtedly, there's some really cool characters in the Warcraft world. Bingzer asks, do you think that Blizzard will make vanilla a separate subscription? I sure hope not. I think it's going to be part of the core subscription. Or will current WoW subscribers have full access to Classic WoW without any intrinsic cost? The latter. I think it would have to be the latter. I think people would riot in the streets for this point. Execute. Another very controversial change was the change in global cooldown, and if you don't know what that is, look at my ability bar. There's this small cooldown in between every ability. Some abilities like Recklessness, which you could pop instantaneously and go right into another ability, got a cooldown, so it's kind of slowed down the whole combat. Some people think it feels clunky. I understand the reasons why they did it. I don't know that I agree with them.
I got another question for you, Duggan.
Yes.
So, do you think that World of Warcraft is a game that can stay relevant using its base foundation, or do you think eventually it's going to need that sequel that introduces new mechanics to evolve the MMO further?
Boy, I hope it's the last thing. I hope it's the latter. I hope that it needs a sequel eventually to push what they're doing forward. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It's definitely going strong. Definitely doing well. Definitely not dying. Anybody who says it's dying is being hyperbolic. It's doing just fine, especially when you consider that people are paying $15 a month for this still. Yes, some people are using the WoW token, but the vast majority of players are still paying $50 a month. And even if you are using a WoW token, somebody's paying $20 for that. So they're making more money there. So I think that it's going to do just fine. I don't think we'll ever see a World of Warcraft 2, and if we do, I'll be really old. And probably not have the time for it. I would hope that we see some other entry into Warcraft. I don't know if that's an RTS. I don't know what that is. The RTS genre, that's a genre that's kind of died recently. I think the barrier for entry of an RTS is too high, and not that people can't really engage with it readily enough. But I would love to see Warcraft. I think it's one of my favorite Blizzard franchises. I think they do a great job with character building, world building. So I would love to see it come back in some other way. WoW is missing out on consoles which do have successful MMOs like DC Universe, ESO, and D&D. Now that I think about it, considering the min specs required, it's surprising that they never stretched out to consoles. I agree. I think you have an amount of headaches you have to deal with consoles that you don't necessarily. Like, World of Warcraft has existed for 14 years, and will probably exist for another 14 more. So, the idea that you're going to port your game to a console that's going to be around for at most another 5 years is not really attractive. Also, you'd need to do such a significant amount of work to get all of this onto a controller. I know there are mods, but the question is, are they good enough? For Blizzard's standards, I would say probably not. I remember having an argument with my friend, because I didn't have a PC at the time. I was like 14. And I was like, yeah, man, World of Warcraft's totally going to come to Xbox. You wait. It'll be on the 360. Never happened. Jake the Snake 88 on Twitch says, the loot/equipment management and combat systems, what's going on? Why can't I charge? In World of Warcraft seem overwhelming. Is a new player gradually introduced to these, or are they dropped in the middle of everything and expected to catch up? I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, but I believe if you buy the expansion, you get a level 1 tank character straight away. And yes, they do a good job of like gradually introducing you to that over the course of like an hour, though. You're going to be playing catch-up for a while. If you start a character at level 1, you're very gradually introduced to all these elements, which is cool. How's the sound mixing on the game? Should I turn it down a little bit? James S. asks, it has microtransactions too, correct? Yes, it does. Blizzard has monetized World of Warcraft in every possible way, though you could argue these microtransactions are relatively non-intrusive. You have things like these pets. There are plenty of hundreds, if not thousands of pets you can get in the game without using the store. There's the WoW token. There are services, which I use too much, like faction change, race change, appearance change, name change. So yeah, they get you. Like you're gonna pay a lot if you want to play this game, which I don't know if it's worth it. There, I see posts on Reddit that are like, "This is my first time playing Warcraft and I love it." I'm frankly surprised, because I think it's a pretty opaque game. Destin Legary tried to get into it and could not. Shout out to Destin Gary. Sorry you couldn't hack it. You can't handle all this, huh? You can't handle a game that looks like this, can you, Destin? Look at this. I'm gonna play with these up. I don't need to see what I'm doing. I'm gonna look at my specializations and see what kind of. Oh, look, we got tank. That's cool. I can go back to arms. The two-handed spec. Let's loot. Boom. There we go. This can be a breakout on YouTube, Mitchell. Battle for Azeroth is a great starting place for a very long... question from BR Seraph. Is Battle for Azeroth a great starting place for a very long time-lapsed player? I mean, we've talked about what I think of the history of WoW versus where it is now. If you were into questing, if you were into dungeons and eventually raids, yes, jump in, have a good time. If you haven't played since like Vanilla and Burning Crusade and quit because the game was becoming too streamlined, then no. Did I get... No, I guess I did. I'm just going to intimidate the shit out of this guy. Brr, get out of here. Let's see here. Are those boots better than what I got? No. There's no need for people to buy these, though. Yes. We explained that. These are cosmetic. These are shop things. Although, I disagree with you when it comes to services. You do need to buy these if you want a race change, if you want appearance change, name change, character transfer, faction change, which is fine. That's like an extra service. But as far as like mounts go, no. There's plenty of mounts you can get in the game. If one looks cool, go for it. If not, whatever. It's kind of similar to Hearthstone. You know the way you can like buy Magni, but the game, it's more money. Like for those who want to pay it, I don't blame them. I remember when that Celestial horse came around, people lost their mind. Whatever. The best cosmetics come from old dungeons, raids that you transmog. One thing that I do really kind of like, I have mixed opinions about this, but is this system. I'm missing a lot of stuff, but like, you know, you can look at, okay, here's some of the armor that you could stand to gain. Here's some of the old armor. Here are things like mounts, which can I filter by the ones that I have and not alphabetically. Collected sources. What? Huh? That's weird. Anyway, I have 211 mounts. It's a lot. And then the other thing that I like a lot is, like, if you see my swords, this isn't what they actually look like. You can choose, and there's some appearances, like this appearance as an example, was exclusive to the Mage Tower. You can't get it anymore. This kind of appearance, where is it? Boom. That. So they do a good job with like time getting some stuff for people who are playing. I haven't played since Cataclysm and was wondering if I will be totally confused now or will be able to pick it up again. Neo Bob Falcon asks. I think you'll be able to pick it up again. If you were playing pre-Cataclysm, the game is much easier than it was then. Excuse me. OG Tabard is fire, yeah. I just wish some old gear got retextured. They do every now and again. An example would be this. Here we go. No. Wrong. Boom. Like this Titanic Onslaught armor is kind of a revamp of this. Wait. No? Huh. Where are we? There we go. So, like, see that armor? That's like... This is Burning Crusade. Where's that? Where's that? Yeah, that's Burning Crusade. And then this armor is Legion. Where'd it go? And you can actually make it blue. Is it Mythic? And then there's the Mythic version, which looks sweet. So yeah, like there's some stuff in this game that still looks super old, but if you stay in the new zones, it'll look pretty good. Tyrate says, yeah, you get a 110 character boost for buying the expansion. You know what, this is not making a great case for World of Warcraft, but one of my favorite things that I did recently, when I was playing World of Warcraft and grinding stuff out, was listening to audiobooks while I play. Because you can kind of just like tune out and not really think about it too much. Let's get my, hold on a second, I want to get this mount. This mount looks cool.
I used to do that with Destiny. I used to listen to Critical Role.
It's cool. I mean, it's good. Like, I've listened to almost all of the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes. I listened to Silkworm by Robert, what is his name? Anyway, Robert Galbraith. Great book. Anything that like requires you to sink in an egregious amount of time and not think too hard, you can kind of do that too. Oh, I gotta recover souls. I forgot to do this. Aha!
Sorry about that technical snafu. I don't know what happened, but we're good now.
We're good, everybody. We're back. You guys think Fallout 76 will be something special? Let's have a conversation about Fallout 76 while we're playing World of Warcraft. I think Fallout 76 is taking Rust, and the reasons for Rust, why Rust is great, is because it's non-sharded, it's non-instanced, it's a game that you can grief. Those are the reasons that make Rust Rust. So taking Rust and taking those elements out of it, I don't know. That seems weird to me. Good luck. I don't know. We'll see. Like, an example would be if I'm in Rust and I see your base and I have C4, I can destroy your base, or an explosive, and I can take the stuff out of your base, and that's why it's cool. You kind of get this factional warfare going on. Yes, there are some problems. Like, if you start on a server that's been around for a couple days, you're not really going to get anywhere. But the best elements of Rust are because it is not instanced, and because there is kind of a hardcore PvP factional conflict element to it. So removing those elements and then having this progression on top of it, in the Fallout engine, which is not renowned for its shooting experience, I don't know. I'm skeptical, but I also think it could be really cool. And I would like to see some of those design philosophies echoed in a AAA space. That'd be cool. I'm going to go pick this quest up real quick. I never thought I'd be playing, in 2004, I never thought I'd be playing World of Warcraft in 14 years. That's blown my mind.
We had a question from a little while ago that asked, James, could you see Blizzard not doing World of Warcraft 2 within the next decade, but heavily updating / changing the engine completely? I've played since vanilla, and I'm sort of tired of the same look and feel.
I think they've already done an enormous amount of engine updates. Even if you're not really seeing them, I think you are seeing them in some extent. Like, let's take a look at. An example would be, let's go to appearances, items. Take a look at what's a really cool weapon. This weapon versus swords. What was like a cool weapon? This weapon versus this weapon. Or this weapon. However, like to do this kind of stuff, like Heroic Leap, the Demon Hunter in particular, I think that's a great place where like they couldn't have done that in terms of the engine limitations before 2016, 2015, whenever it came out. I don't think they'll update it to the point where like it looks like a completely different game, though I guess you could argue that this looks very different from vanilla. But like I think WoW will always be cartoony, and that's part of the appeal, and that's part of the timeless nature of it. So, is it going to look like Unreal Engine 4? No way. And when I see, I don't know if you want to get like depressed, Google Unreal Engine 4 Elwyn Forest, and just imagine how cool that would be to have some of your favorite places in the Warcraft universe rendered in such an awesome way. But I think they've done great for the direction they've chosen to go in. We've talked about that. They've definitely modified the engine. People are saying these are just new assets. Yes, but they've also modified the engine to allow for these new assets and abilities to exist in the game and quest things. I'm sure there's like dev diaries or tweets digging into the amount of modification that an engine needs in order to run some of the systems. The example with why they didn't give, or why they were so hesitant to do the classic World of Warcraft port, I suppose, was because that old engine doesn't allow a lot of the stuff that people just come to expect in terms of server architecture, in terms of chat, in terms of being able to ignore people, in terms of party invites, in terms of guilds, in terms of raids. So all the stuff that we've come to love, even though I don't necessarily like this, like Raid Finder, Dungeon Finder, whatever, pre-made groups is great. This tool being able to be like, hey, I want to do a raid. Is anybody, people are actually running Taurus Mythic Transmogs. The expansion's been out for like less than 24 hours. How are people running old content for transmogs already? That's crazy. Damaged Industries says maximize profit with as little effort as possible. Of all the stuff that I've said this stream about them taking it in a different direction, XYZ, I don't think that's true at all. I think Blizzard, if anything, is one of the greatest gold standards in game development, that they will not release a product unless they feel good about it. So I think that there are plenty of instances, StarCraft Ghost, what was a recent one that they canned? Huh? Titan. That went and got into Overwatch, where they're just like, they're not committed to it. If anything, it's maximum effort. And yes, they make a ton of money as well, but they're definitely not lazy. James S. says, I wish this would be so cool. WoW will end with a Zerg invasion, obliterating everything and leading into World of StarCraft. Working title. Dude, that'd be great. I would love life. It'll never happen, but that would be cool. If you're like interested in going into a YouTube rabbit hole, apocalyptic MMO events like Tabula Rasa, there are some other examples of MMOs that have just died. Like the last moments in MMOs is really weird. It's like kind of like glimpsing into the future of humanity, where nobody has any motivations. They're existing in their purest form, where they're just like, oh, I'm sticking around for this. It's weird. Axe says, this is still a great game. I've loved WoW in this state back in 2004. That's great. I'm glad for the people who really, really enjoy it, where it's gone, been along for the ride the whole time. That's cool. I think anytime a new game comes out, especially in an age where games as a service is every single game, has a 10-year plan, Destiny looking at you, I think World of Warcraft, the idea that people have been playing World of Warcraft for 15 years is not sad. It's the goal, right? Like, this is the one example of a game that has been supported for that long and is still successful. Sorry, I got my face oil on my glasses. Let's do one of these. Oh, oh. Axe says, I had so much hope for Warhammer Online. Yeah, me too. GG.
Doug, you talk about apocalyptic MMO events. Maybe look up the last minute of City of Heroes. It's making me well up in the eyes.
Yeah, isn't it sad?
It's so sad.
I forgot to use this item after I killed these guys. I wasn't reading the quest text carefully enough. I apologize. We gotta. No, not reading any of those souls. All right, I'm gonna try and do a little AOE farm here. Though the mobs seem to be spread out in a way that disallows me from AOE farming them. But is there any more? Any more I can pull, please? No? Okay, fine. Let's ring the bell. Do not ask for who the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. I've honestly never played WoW, but think it looks nice. Is it late for a complete noob to start? No way. Nameless Watcher. You can totally start right now. Kill Switch 408 says, one thing that I'm excited for about Classic is that I can go back to a time where I met cool players in my server. Don't like Dungeon Finder because you may never meet certain players ever again. Exactly, right? Like, when it is not as easy for you to find a group to clear content, you are more likely to stick to the friendships that you have made and make more friendships. And kind of exile the players who are jerks, who are ninjaing drops, right? So... And for those who have no idea, like, what we're talking about here, why we're kind of reminiscing about old World of Warcraft and some of the incomprehensible elements and difficult elements and emergent multiplayer elements, it's kind of what the genre for me was all about and what I really enjoyed about the genre. So in a way, it would be like kind of taking Dark Souls and being like, look, weapons don't have animations now. You can roll out of a weapon animation at any time. We've decided to include a looking for boss mode, where the boss's mechanics are greatly diminished and the damage is non-existent. It's like, blah, that's not why I like this, you know? That's not why I play this game. All right, quest complete. Let's go kill that rare spawn over there.
Question specifically for you, James.
Yes, please.
Slight tangent, but since you broke the seal with Earthfall, can we expect any more reviews from you, or did Earthfall's mediocrity sour things?
It would be so funny if that was the one review of my career, right? It was this, like, forgettable Left 4 Dead play. Yeah, you can expect more reviews from me. I'm currently in the process of early access reviewing a game called Postscriptum, which is proving to be a much more difficult review than Earthfall. Postscriptum is a historical first-person shooter kind of simulation game in the style of Squad. I will also probably be reviewing Insurgency Sandstorm, and then maybe I'll be reviewing a big AAA historical military 64-player game. Use your imagination. Jeez, I don't know. Might be coming out in October. So yeah, you'll see a lot more reviews coming my way. It was something that I really enjoyed the process of doing. And yeah, it was an interesting process, like, building up to it mentally. Like, do I want to... It started when I asked a reviews editor if I could review a certain game coming out this fall. And he's like, you got to build up to it. So I am, and I'm digging it. I like being able to just, in a very pure form, express my opinion, put my brand on stuff. It's a little bit explanatory. It's a little bit in-depth, but a lot of the stuff when I watch a review, I want to know more about the game in addition to the person's opinion about it and why they have those opinions. So, who's this? Somebody's at the door, Mitch. It's for you. We got an hour left on the World of Warcraft stream here at IGN Plays Live. The stream is presented by Disenchantment. Sell anything cool? Whoa, what is this? For 5,000 gold. Crafting reagent. Huh, interesting. Is this any good? Good versatility? Nah. James S says, cool. I mean, it can't be salt all the time. You're right. There was a really good comment in my first review for Earthfall, which is not a good game. Let's make that clear up front. Which was, this is a James Duggan review. Classically and historically, you have to take those with a grain of salt because he's always negative. But that was my first review, so. But yeah, I definitely like games too. There are games I quite like. Good? More? What? Hey everybody, I'm coming over here now. And you're right, it can't be salt all the time. There were parts of Earthfall... No, there weren't. There really weren't that many parts of Earthfall I liked. I liked its visual presentation, maybe, but that was about it. It was a very mediocre game. Lock866 says, remember AQ40? I don't. I remember the war effort. I remember the day, but I was not at that point where I was rating AQ40. But I hear that was a crazy cool event. And I was talking to Ian Hazakostas in an interview, and he wasn't working at Blizzard at that time. However, they said after they did that event, which was like, hey, everybody log on at this time. There's going to be this one thing that we're going to do, and go to this one zone. That was like a huge no-no that they never did again, because you can imagine that particular zone, as well as Silithus, God, I can't pronounce it. Silithus, as well as servers, just became completely overwhelmed. Have I unlocked any dungeons yet? Let's find out. I would love to do a dungeon. Yes. Should I tank? I'll tank one. Hold on. Let's leave that queue. I can tank. Wasn't Overwatch supposed to be an MMO? Yes, it was. It was like it's called Titan. That was the project name for it. And it was, the idea, I guess, was like you have kind of a tracer archetype, and it's a first-person shooter. Didn't really work out. I totally think that there was a time where people tried to make their game an MMO where it had no business being an MMO. And the definition of MMO was like, does it have dungeons? Does it have raids? Does it have questing? Does it have open world zones? When you needed to think in a larger picture, which is, what does an MMO need? Well, it just needs a lot of flavors to be an MMO. It doesn't need to have all these other boxes to check. So I'm glad Overwatch turned out the way it did. No more instant queues for tanks, I guess. Let's do it. Still love dungeons. Dungeons are still great, man. If there was a World of Warcraft Dungeons in the game where it was just a dungeon rush, I would totally play it. Timmy S3D on IGN says, turning the supplies to open the gates was so fun. I agree. That was a really cool initiative. All right, let's see. Waycrest Manor. I should probably go protection. Hope my keybinds are set. Do I still have Battle Shout as prot? Oh, yeah. Rallying Cry. What is this? What is... Wait a minute. Okay. All right, well, anyway, here we go. Are we missing people? Yes. Nobody important, though. These look great. Sorry, man. I'm like... The keyboard doesn't go anymore. Sorry, Shannon. Anybody's wondering what my title is, it's Lord of War, like that great film with Nicolas Cage. This is the first time I'm doing this dungeon, so please forgive me. Aggro is harder to hold than it was in Legion. My talents are probably garbage. This is cool. I like this aesthetically. Send in Leroy. This is Hero K3 on IGN. Do we have to like talk to this NPC? Come on, just go. What is happening? Is this the wrong place? Everybody just follow me? but I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going, guys. Why would you follow the tank? Are we supposed to talk to somebody? God, help me, chat. I'm up the creek without a paddle. Okay, I guess we go back down here. Aha! Boom. Call over some more. So for those who've never done a World of Warcraft dungeon, or, you know, a lot of people are asking, this is the first time I played this game, should I play? Yeah. So what's happening right now is this is a dungeon. You need 5 players, 3 DPS, 1 tank, which is the role I'm playing, as well as a healer. And essentially the tank's job is to force monsters to attack him, while the DPS do damage, and the healer heals people. So everybody's kind of got their role. It's called the Holy Trinity in MMOs and RPGs. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy dungeons, especially when the boss mechanics start coming in. One thing that I think World of Warcraft is second to none in is raid and dungeon and boss encounter design for this style of game. Everything in Destiny, to some extent, obviously it's a shooter, right? But a lot of the raids are heavily World of Warcraft inspired. And I think much more games should have raids. They're a very fun thing. They take a lot of coordination. Everybody kind of has to be on their A game. A lot of fun. Oh, God. Kill Jaden's Burning Wish is still so good. Oh, I'm sorry, YouTube chat. I was stuck on something. Dungeon is too dark. Can't see anything. Fair enough. I totally thought you were a Horde player for the longest time. When the change? I suppose why the change is probably the better question. I changed to play with people. I had more friends that played on the Alliance. I'm definitely Horde at heart, thus the shirt. But frankly, I just don't really care anymore. I feel like the faction identity is kind of like diminished for what I cared about. But yes, Horde at heart. Hashtag. Did I skip a boss or something? Yeah, I did. There's a pigman in here. Don't worry. Don't worry, we're not skipping him. Why is my YouTube chat not auto-scrolling anymore? That's annoying. Okay, here's our first dungeon boss. Oh, cool! Look at him. He looks straight out of Darkest Dungeon. I love that. That is a cool-looking boss. Probably should have saved Kill Jaden's Burning Wish, but whatever. Oh, silence. That's not good. Face them away from the party so they don't get cleaved. There's just some general rules of tanking, regardless of the encounter, and one of them is face away from the party. Let's clear out these mobs. Another one is clear ads before you pull the boss. The team's getting a little close for comfort over there. Ooh, this is going to be a big pull. Let's pop some TVs. Request to increase the game volume. But if you think it's fine, Mitchell, you use your best judgment. Probably bind time. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Face him to the left. We'll see what this guy's mechanics are. I'm going to pop Avatar. We'll try and get a big... Okay, so don't stand in the crap. It literally looks like crap, so... Classic. Big damage phase up front. This is not a challenge. We tore through this guy like a normal mob. Oh well. What did I get? I got a green? Oh, is that's just my Azeroth power or whatever? Figure that out later. Somebody got a sweet blue, 245. That's pretty good. What's in this room? It's the kitchen, everybody. Maybe there's like a quest objective that I don't have in here. Oh, what is that? It's just are you excited to be moving away from the artifact weapon system, or do you think the Horde of Azeroth will make it feel too similar to Legion? No, I think the Horde of Azeroth is a nice compromise. I really like the artifact weapon system. I like artifact weapon appearances, but I also like a bit of difference in my... Should we go down? Looks like there's multiple ways we can approach this dungeon. It's cool. Nope. Okay, never mind. One way. But what I do like about not having the weapons is, you know, they're different weapons. It's not all just the same thing. It's cool. I don't have this game, but I have this game, but I don't have BFA and lost game time. Plus my computer, I have it can no longer run it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Trying to get this aggro. This makes me regret never having a PC to play games. Yet again, my father would have never approved of me playing this when I was a kid. Yeah, this is a difficult game to convince my parents to play. And we had many fights. World of Warcraft has caused fights my entire life. Caused a fight with my girlfriend and I last week. Is this a boss? This looks like a boss. This is a boss. Oh god, did we aggro him? No, good, okay. Got real close to aggroing him right there. Is this worth returning for, asks Michael Griffin. I think it depends upon what you want. If you want kind of the classic bread and butter, this is what they've delivered for the past 3 expansions, then yeah. If you're looking for some crazy revamp, going back to the core of World of Warcraft, then no. Damage increases with each stack of Soul Harvest. It's alright, we'll just pop Shield Wall and not have to worry about those mechanics, huh? The cool thing that World of Warcraft did with Legion, and Warlords of Draenor to some extent, with Challenge Dungeons and then the Mythic Plus Dungeons after, was... ooh, yes, I got a thing. Hold on, we'll finish that thought. Oh man, it's not even good. That sucks. Was you're able to do these dungeons on increasingly more and more difficulty, kind of like a greater rift from Diablo 3. So I think that's really cool. Looking forward to kind of sinking my teeth into the mechanics of this dungeon. What is this? Later on, with some more difficulty, because right now it's pretty trivial. I love the layout of this dungeon, though. Let's pull more than one group. We can totally handle it. Looks like Treebeard from Lord of the Rings trilogy. Yes, like an evil Treebeard. Do you see yourself sticking around and playing the expansion for more than the first month or so, asks Valorian. Well, interesting answer there. I don't plan on playing at all after this stream. I've played this game for 14 years, man. I'm not getting anything new out of it. It's fun, but it takes a lot out of you. And, oh god, don't close me in. And what it offers in return for me at this point in my life, I just don't think it's worth it, so. Ooh, check it out, a council fight. Let's see if we can just... No, looks like we can't. All right. Taunt that guy. So yeah, once I'm done streaming this, I'm good. Period. Hopefully for the rest of the time, but I'm sure I'll go back on it at some point. Great game, lots of fun. A lot of people can play it at different levels of engagement. I just don't really want to anymore. I'll play WoW Classic, though. How about that? Am I standing in crap? No, okay, I just got to ring around it. Lazen asks, WoW Classic coming anytime soon? Probably not for another year or 2, at the least, I would imagine. We got aggro problems, folks. My healer's got aggro. Come here. This is a somewhat challenging encounter. I'm digging it. But like this, I think this is totally cool. I think what the expansion is offering is fun. That guy's got some kind of like damage shield that we should not be attacking him, but it looks like the DPS might be anyway. Both of these folks have a damage shield. Is that because? Okay. But yeah, I've literally put years of playtime into World of Warcraft, so I think I've had enough. Will you finish the main quest to see how it plays out? Don't care. That's like the least of all the reasons I would continue to play Battle for Azeroth. That's the least of my concerns, frankly. I think there are totally things to offer here. I would love to see the dungeon and raid content. I would love to do some PvP, maybe. We'll see. Definitely Mythic Plus dungeons. But there's so many other games coming out, you know? Battlefield 5 looks fantastic. I'm always sinking my teeth into the early access space on PC and Steam. Insurgency Sandstorm, Postscriptum, Anthem. Anthem is the biggest one, for sure. We'll see if that can do anything. The Division 2, Fallout 76. There's a lot of games coming out that I think are going to offer me new things and broaden my horizons as a gamer. And so that's what I'm choosing to spend my time on. Where are we going? We're sure we're going this way. Yeah, no, we were just here, guys. I'll follow you because you're my party and I love you, but this is not the right way. Right? Yeah, this is not the right way, guys. Usually the rule of thumb is follow the tank, but that hasn't been the case in many years, so. All right, apparently it's here. I trust you. I trust you, party members. How is this X-Pack? Asks Martin Ortega. Pretty good so far. It's like more of the same. I don't think there's anything massively different about this X-Pack. Oh, the dungeon. Went into the cellar. This dungeon, though, is great. I'm digging this dungeon. Feels like classic D&D kind of thing. Come here, come here, come here. Does anyone at IGN still play current WoW? I mean, I am right now, and I have been active up until this point. Other than that, Eric Sapp, one of our designers on the design team, plays. I think that's about it. I know a lot of folks in the gaming space who are playing. A lot of my friends are on right now. Like, the X-Pack has a way of bringing people back. Hey, what's up? Yo, what would happen if I pulled this whole room? Would that be crazy? Let's do that. That was not that crazy. I guess I am pretty well geared for where I am level-wise. The time of the MMO has passed, says Scott Verstedge. I don't agree. I just think we're not calling MMOs MMOs anymore. And the level or degree of which a game is an MMO or has MMO elements is kind of changing. An example would be Destiny, Anthem, The Division. Those are certainly very MMO-inspired games. What? Am I missing something? Huh? What's this? What's going on? What do you want? Oh, look at this cool stuff. Blitzking says, I get it, it's difficult to stick with one game these days. Lots of them have a grip on you. Most look great. They definitely do. And my job kind of necessitates that I play a bunch. However, the idea is to stick with the game. I would love, if Anthem is great, or The Division 2 is great, I'll totally stick with it. I've played this game for 14 years, you know? So that's literally half of my life I've been playing World of Warcraft. And I think I've gotten everything out of it that I want to get out of it. Had a great time. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, there's a lot of other games. I definitely consider myself like a modern core gamer in the sense that I want to find one game to stick to as opposed to a bunch of different ones. This looks like a sweet end boss encounter. Oh, that organ! Whoa, that's cool! That's like some Ocarina of Time stuff with Ganon. That organ that was playing that whole time just stopped. I love that. That's great. How do I aggro you, boss? There you go. You just throw an axe at him. Hey, look, this guy's fighting me with his broken off arm. Popping the time warp. Here we go. I'm going to save my big CBs for this other guy. Or, oh, okay, interesting. We're like siphoning health from that other boss? I don't really know how to stop that. Whoops. Bad fingered my character screen. Alright, whatever. Clever Edge says, actually, never mind. I'm just going to not, because I love WoW so much. It's not because of the game, just because the amazing storytelling. Every character seems different, and not just another NPC. That's really cool. I don't agree, but that is really cool. I feel like a lot of the NPCs feel pretty samey. Even a lot of the main characters feel pretty samey. Not aesthetically, but certainly in their motivations. Sweet! Is that it? I think that was it. Unless we got one more boss. I mean, I assume we jump down here, right? Oh, it's not over. What is this? Cool. Am I stuck? I feel like I'm stuck. So we can use the warrior leap to get unstuck. No, no path available. Boy, did I just mess up or did I just mess up? Evade bug, that's never good. Let's keep on trucking. Do you need separate gear for tanking, or does DPS gear work for both? In the very end game, you need separate gear for tanking, but for the most part, there's a thing now where, like, a lot of my gear that would have had crit on it now has avoidance. I can't aggro that mob, so yeah, not line of sight. I don't really know how to get back up from here, if I'm honest. At this level, like in a leveling state, you can totally just use DPS gear. I'm using DPS gear and doing just fine, with the exception of my weapon, obviously. Us22 says, World of Warcraft Classic is where it's at. I love WoW because it built memories throughout my life. So many real-life events have happened. I agree with that. This game has had a huge impact on my life. What does this do? Does this teleport me somewhere? Okay. Oh. There's something to loot over here? Yeah. Us22 says, I always wanted a game that can last long, and WoW has done that. It's worth all the price. I agree. Like we were saying before, you know, the goal of Destiny, the goal of a lot of these games, games as a service, is to last as long as World of Warcraft has. And I think World of Warcraft is one of the few games that has actually done it for the time. Not like it even initially advertised that it was going to be a 15-year game. It just kind of happened, which is cool. All right, here we go. Final boss. Let's wait for the whole party to be here. Looks like we're all good. Here we go. Rebuff. 3, 2, 1, pull. Not sure if lusting in the last fight was a good idea. I should have interrupted that. Well, never mind. I was going to read your thing, but then I read your name, and now I'm not going to read your thing. Have you jumped back into Maelstrom at all? Picked it up after you streamed it, and I think they're just putting out the latest update, says James S. No, I actually haven't, and that was a fun little game. Cool, we did it! We did it, everybody! Yeah. Fools, you have merely defeated a vassal. Let's choose a thing. When you take damage, heal for 1,500. I have 85,000. That's actually pretty good. Increases your movement speed by 10% of your highest secondary rating up to 3%. I think I like healing. Well, movement speed. Yeah, I still like healing. Let me take healing. Spec. Fury. Thanks for the group, everybody. Let's bounce back up to the open world. How many more months, days, or years do you think WoW has until the developers just stop working on it? Asked Clever Edge. Well, when was the last time Diablo 2 was updated? It was like 2013 or something, so... And that game, while substantial, was way less impactful than World of Warcraft, so... People are still... Look, as long as more than 1 million people are still paying $15 a month for this game, buying the expansions, I don't ever see World of Warcraft ending. That's been a question since World of Warcraft launch. Who will kill WoW? When will WoW be dead? And I think at this point we can kind of write it off as hyperbolic. The only people who could totally kill WoW are Blizzard, but they won't. And why would they? You know, they got a good thing going. Why mess it up? So, Killswitch asks, so is Sylvanas not part of the Horde anymore? I'm curious how the Horde side plays out, because it seems like Sylvanas is the big bad. Yeah, so it would seem. They might pull a fast one on us, and she might be possessed by, what is that guy? That old god, who's a Hearthstone card. N'Zoth. The N'Zoth corruption was corrupting me the whole time, huh? Maybe not. Maybe she is the big bad, but she's still part of the Horde. This is not like the first time the Horde has had a big bad at steering the ship. Garrosh. Dude, cool painting. Yeah, I like what's happening storytelling-wise. I like some new characters are kind of being brought to the surface, like Varrock Sarfang, who's been around for a while.
Quick question, James.
Yes, please.
Quick question, James. God, I can't speak. Do you think we might be able to explore Stormsong Valley? Or... We
are in Stormsong Valley. I'm
okay.
looking, unless you can provide me with, like, there's a bunch of honey around here.
It's definitely by a river.
So we're getting close. Let me just go down into this. We're looking for a particular Easter egg. Ooh! The brew. Oh. On laptop. Ah. An article in 2016, this is from as Dryon TM says, as far as I can remember, the article I saw in 2016 said at least 20 more years. Yeah, I don't think that's inaccurate. I also don't think it's easy to predict that kind of thing. Who knows? We'll see. Time will tell. I'm like, even if, see, here's the thing. Even if World of Warcraft lost 70% of its current player base, and it ebbs and flows for sure, I think they would still support it. They would just reduce the amount of servers needed. They'd still be charging people $15 a month. I don't think it'll ever go free to play. And they'd still be making a profit, so. All right, you ready to find this Easter egg? All right, let's do a little game. In the chat, can you tell me which Easter egg I'm about to find? I'll give you a hint. There's a ton of honey everywhere. And I used to watch this nonstop. In fact, here's a funny story. Hopefully, if you're watching, this can help you guess. When I was 8 months old, I was watching this particular cartoon that we're about to find an Easter egg for, jumped off of the sofa, and broke my femur. That's a real story that really happened. I'm fine. I don't notice it. I don't remember it. The doctors thought my mother might not be fit to continue raising me, but she's a great mother, so. They were wrong. We have any guesses? Ooh, we have 2 guesses in YouTube, and I'm not going to spoil things. Let's see if we can find it. It's by a river, you're saying? All right, well. Man, I want that mount. That's a cool mount. Do you have... I suppose I could just look it up. All right, let's just do that. Ooh, maybe it's over here. Ooh, I'm feel like we're getting warmer. Does this look? Are there waterfalls by it, Mitchell? Ooh, is this it? Oh God, they're falling. Ha ha! Ha ha! We've done it. Look who it is. It's Honey Bear, and Tiger, and Young Pig, and Melancholy Mule. What do we got in here? Honey glazed vambraces. Oh man, World of Warcraft never ceases to amaze me with the Easter eggs. They're always very, very fun. This is great. His tail seems very on there. It doesn't even seem pinned on. And this guy's not even jumping. I wish I could get those as pets. All right, goodbye. Goodbye, particular early 90s cartoon reference. No, I guess that's like the 70s, huh? That is an old cartoon. Christopher Robin is a level 110 elite, says Nathan. Can't wait to fight him. You know what would be awesome? Is if you summoned, if you got those honey glazed vambraces and then you had to fight Christopher Robin. That'd be a nice dark take on the Winnie the Pooh franchise. Looking for journal pages. Whoa, what is this? What's this light? It's a pet battle. Yeah, by the way, like the whole game of Pokemon is just in World of Warcraft. See, this person's fighting this crab, Kingler. Got Dragonite over there. I'm not even joking, like the pet battling is totally a thing. Christopher Robin is a raid boss. The mule is too happy. Yeah. Does anybody else find that new incarnation of Winnie the Pooh insanely creepy? Because I sure do. Mitchell, what do you think?
It's a little creepy for sure.
He's really creepy.
Yeah.
Like, if you go to theaters in the U.S., you get a Maria Menounos interview with Winnie the Pooh, and it's weird, man. Winnie the Pooh's a weird dude. But he's rendered so vividly. You're a day behind. Yes, I am, Lycan. I'm not planning on continuing after this. So. Saving it just for y'all. Wait, Christopher Robin is actually part of the Easter egg? Are you serious?
Yeah, he was the non-animal person there.
I didn't even notice him. Should we go back and say hello? Can you fight him? Let's go fight the Winnie the Pooh gang, shall we? Gotta get this honey. Oh, I'm in combat. Bees don't like it when I take their honey. Why am I in combat? Things that have been around since 2004, stuck in combat. Like where are you? That's the one thing I miss about playing like a rogue or a druid or a night elf, is just being able to vanish out of the combat bug. Especially when you want to go see Christopher Robin. There we go. How's the expansion so far, asks Cameron. I'm digging it. I mean, it's very pretty. I think they're doing new things narratively, but I don't think they're really innovating in too many spaces that I'm super interested in. Islands could be cool, but from what I played of Islands at a preview event, they kind of just felt like scenarios. The 3v3 PvP islands could be really cool, but we'll see. I'm sorry, we're going back over here because I didn't see Christopher Robin. Is it down here? Maybe I don't want to Go all the way back. Oh, can I Goblin Glider? Do I have any? I do. Yes, I can Goblin Glider in here. Where are you, Christopher Robin? There he is. Hunter Robin. I didn't even see him. And now you will pay. Cool. Quick question, what game is this for the PC or what? This is a game called World of Warcraft. It's for the personal computer, Windows, or Mac operating system. You need an internet connection, a connection to the World Wide Web to play this game. You'll need a keyboard and a mouse. If you're tired of playing Counter-Strike, Source, or looking something to take... What else was cool in 2004, Mitchell? What was all the rage? Halo?
Linkin Park.
Linkin Park. Well, you can listen to Linkin Park and play World of Warcraft at the same time. People still do.
Play some Diablo 2.
Diablo 2. Yes. This is a game that pulled me away from Diablo 2. It's just I think, like, at the time, it was like an objectively better version of Diablo 2. I've already read your comments, Lycan. Ask me a question, I'll answer it. Nova Solid says, so this is where all the nerds went. Have fun with that, I'm out. Fair enough. I get it. You excited for the new Destiny Forsaken expansion, Mitchell?
I don't know, man.
Good answer.
Those weapons look really cool.
The weapons do look cool. You know, I think, like, the weird thing about this whole thing, like, because if this were the first time this were happening, I'd be like, they're really getting it. They're really understanding their game. But we've been through this whole process once before.
Yeah, I think the thing with me and Destiny is that it's a game that I'm only interested in playing with friends, and I feel like most of my friends have gotten over it.
Yeah, I think that's apt. I definitely...
And the ones that haven't gotten over it have all moved on to PC, and I'm not far enough on PC to...
Oh, PC's the place to play.
Again.
I love that I was right about that. It was like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park. Just being right all the time. I got into an argument with Destin Legary and CJ Gibson about how literally everybody was going to be playing on PC. Because aim assist was supported on controller, everybody who could, sooner or later, would move over to PC. And as far as the IGN office is concerned, I'm 100% correct. Like, everybody, even CJ plays on there. It just runs at 60 FPS and looks beautiful, so it's like, why wouldn't you, if you're able to?
Yeah, it's one of those things that's hard to... Once you experience that game on PC, it's real hard to go back to PlayStation 4.
Actually, funny story about that. I was previewing Gambit, which I actually like a lot. It's a really cool PvPvE mode, at E3, and I sat down. And of course, when you're playing a build at an event, like, it's very unstable. Sometimes it'll crash. And you always feel bad when that happens for developers because they're trying to show their best and working on this really hard. And I sat down to play it, and I looked at the game running, and I was like, oh no, something's terribly wrong with the optimization. But then I just realized it was running at 30 FPS on a console. And I was like, oh, I forgot it didn't run at 60. There are a lot of console games that run at 60 just fine. So, it's weird. I'm still using my artifact weapons. I've yet to get anything better than my artifact weapons, which are currently 208, so I could have gotten that two-hander from pre-expansion event, whatever. Sam Robinson, what's up, man? How does the new armor system work? Is it like the weapon upgrade? Sure, let's take a look. So this is the Azerite armor. Breastplate of the champion, and I now have my Heart of Azeroth, which levels up and then gives me more things to choose from. So far, they've been pretty interesting. I have Trample the Weak, rampaging an enemy whose health is lower than yours, which is going to be every mob that I'm fighting at this point. Increases my strength by about 80 for 8 seconds, and then I have this thing that heals me randomly. So yeah, like, that's cool. They've done a much better job of making, like, everyday loot interesting. in World of Warcraft in the past few years. I feel like I've already done all this. Back to killing these dudes. So, for those watching, we had that fun dungeon experience, but frankly, like, this is the majority of World of Warcraft new expansion content until you hit level cap, is questing. It's just like, oh, there's a bunch of mobs, go kill them, and while you're there, collect this stuff, and then come back and talk to me, and, I don't know. It's a little bit old at this point. I've been doing this for 14 years!
I'm real curious about what other people think about what you said earlier, how, you know, you play WoW and then while you're listening to audiobooks. And I'm curious what other people listen to while they're playing a game like WoW, where, you know, it's kind of, you know, grindy.
Mindless. You can say it.
And you know, it's just something that you can multicast with, right? For me,
yes.
I listen to Critical Role when I'm playing something like Destiny, and all I'm doing is killing things to buff up my weapons or whatever.
Yeah, anytime there's something like super grindy, totally. What games in the chat do you listen to audiobooks with, or what do you do while you're playing WoW? I know people that watch Netflix while they're playing WoW on a second monitor. There are very few games that I like play now that I'm like actively distracting myself from, and that's usually a sign that you want to go play something else, right?
Yeah.
But somebody had a question in the chat. Wade Paint says, "Where are the swords from? Are they transmog? I stopped after Wrath of the Lich King, and those look freaking cool." Why, thank you so much. This one on the right, the blue one that is like kind of Vrykul inspired, was the the Mage Tower artifact appearance. So you had to complete a challenge, which you can no longer do. And this one on the left is the Warlords of Draenor two-handed Mythic Plus or Challenge Mode Dungeon. I think it's gold on Challenge Mode Dungeon, which you can also no longer do. But that's kind of like how I weight things in World of Warcraft. Like, if they look cool, that's a plus, but if you can't get them anymore, that's way more of a plus. An example would be this mount, which is from Wrath of the Lich King, which you haven't been able to get for a very long time. I've got these. These are ancient history, man. This is from the Burning Crusade Collector's Edition. Looks like crap now, but he's cool. That's from Wrath of the Lich King Collector's Edition. Oh boy, yeah, there's a lot of history down that road. Corehound, Ghastly Charger from the trading card game, Grove Warden, Heavenly Cloud Serpent. You can still get that, but it's a grind. Raven Lord. There's a lot of really cool stuff. Like the thing that World of Warcraft has never had an issue with is incentivization when it comes to mounts, titles, and appearances. Incentivization in terms of like getting into a raid to do the baseline raid stuff, I think is kind of a problem. It's like when you join a raid in LFR, it's just not that interesting. And the gear is like whatever, take it or leave it. You're not going to get anything insanely cool from LFR. I feel like LFR should never have existed, but that's me. Laura says, "I love your character." Thank you so much, man. Matthew Warren says, "I'm watching your stream while playing WoW. You should stream Netflix in the background for the inception of streams." That's a good comment. I approve. I watch Survivor while I play. Daniel McBeauty does something that I can't say on stream while he's playing World of Warcraft. Good for you, man. I'm happy you're having a good time. While playing WoW, I usually watch WoW live streams. You know, I used to listen to, Mitchell, to your point, I used to listen to The Instance, which is a great podcast, by the way. I haven't listened to it recently, but it was certainly used to be a great podcast. And it was, you know, it was just like the epitome of being into a hobby. It was like, I love this game so much, I'm gonna listen to people talk about it while I play it.
Yeah, I do that. When I play fighting games online, a lot of times I'll have fighting game streams up, just so that, not so that I can watch it while playing.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, after I finish a match, I'll look over and see what they're doing. Yeah, you can learn a lot from watching other people play.
You really can. The person who taught me that was Brian Kibler, who I'm sure everybody knows out there if you are into the worlds of MTG or Hearthstone. He's just a very, very good, very articulate, very fun individual to watch. And he always explains his process about what he's doing and why he's doing it. And, you can learn a lot and get a lot better. The Maestro of Masters 8 says, why does this look exactly like Diablo 3? I actually think Diablo 3, and specifically the Reaper of Souls expansion, Loot 2.0, that all inspired World of Warcraft, going back to this World Quest system. I don't really have any on the map right now, but it's very similar to the adventure mode. And you're right, like, they feed into one another. I'm very curious to see what Diablo 4 is. The Diablo team tweeted out a tweet saying that they are working on multiple Diablo projects right now. And I know one, I can't tell you one. But that means they're working on another that I have no knowledge of, which is very exciting because I would hope that it is a main series entry. We'll see. Time will tell. I've been to about 3 BlizzCons in a row where not a lot has happened, so I'm kind of waiting. Oh, real Sergeant Tom, that would make CJ sad. Is this where they hid the real Destiny 2 game? Ouch, bro. Why did this never come to consoles? I think it would just be so much of a pain to port and support on different platforms. It's hard enough, I'm sure, on just PC. The real Sergeant Tom. God, he's just slaying right now. He says, Diablo 4, the Loot Crate Chronicles. Ouch, dude. Calm down, you're savage. Please give a shout out. BB Bear Ryan, what's up, man? Got about 10 minutes left on this stream. If you have any pressing questions for me or for World of Warcraft, please ask them. I guess we can talk about Call of Duty Black Ops 4 on the PC. I just put up a video on IGN. Please go like it, because I'm sure it's going to get downvoted to high heck. Can't believe I have to say heck, and I can't say hell. Oops, I said it. I think that the time to kill, which is too high on console, which is like the consensus of the console community, is actually perfect for PC. You're able to have the dance, so you don't just die as soon as somebody sees you. You can turn on people if you are a little bit more skilled. You can definitely get double kill still. It feels good. I haven't been into a Call of Duty game, like, I haven't been actually invested in a Call of Duty game since Modern Warfare 2. So I was playing it with Stephen Rue over the weekend. We were having a great time. I did a grind all the way to level 40. Got that reward for the live game. And then also the Battlefield 5 closed alpha is back today. If you had access to the first one, you can jump back in and play that. There's some class changes, but ultimately it's the same content. Also very much looking forward to that game.
It's got 266 likes, 60 dislikes. That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
I don't think the Call of Duty hate really comes in full force until after the reviews hit.
I don't know. We put up a Call of Duty gameplay clip. The gameplay was good. It looked good. People hated it. People are like, this is Call of Duty Black Ops 3 reskinned, or this is recycled. And I'm sympathetic to that, especially when they remove campaign, but like, you gotta make moves. And I'm having a good time with it. Wade Payne says, you never answered my question about graphic settings. Can you like scroll up? Or do I ask again? What was your question? Sorry, what was your question about graphic settings? Here are my system settings. There's an enormity. You can run World of Warcraft on next to nothing, and you can also max it out and have it struggle on SLI 1080s. So I'm running a pretty high setup. It's pretty easy to get this game to run well at high, but when you really start cranking things up, like the view distance, take a lot. How do you feel about the new races? Great question. Nathan, you know what? Let's log out and look at those super quick. We'll jump back in. See all my characters. I'm going to keep Call of Duty World War II a second year. I didn't like Call of Duty World War II, dude. Just was not into it. One thing that came over from Diablo that I don't like is transmog. Ruined any sense of seeing something with cool gear and putting your goals on yourself to reach it eventually. That comes from Killswitch 408. That's certainly an opinion. And I think to some extent, yeah, you're right. But also, like, look at this. Like, the idea of grinding for this, for transmog and this, the game's been out for 15 years. Like, the idea of seeing Sulfuras is not that cool anymore in the context of there's a person on my server who has it. All right. I got my Demon Hunter as well. He looks pretty metal. Let's create a new character here. And for the allied folks wondering what the allied races are, we have, for the Alliance, we have Void Elf, which is very similar to Blood Elf, but they get a cool teleportation racial ability. They also look pretty cool. Light Forged, which is kind of the super paladin goody-goody Draenei. Dark Iron Dwarf, one of my personal favorites from Blackrock Mountain. Everybody can remember raiding that, doing Ubers, all that good stuff. And also coming to the Alliance will be the Kultiran humans, which are those more portly individuals from the cinematic we saw on the Horde, the Nightborn from Suramar. And you'll notice, like, this is the Blood Elf model, this is the Draenei model, this is the Dwarf model. The two new models are going to be relatively new. This is Night Elves that are slightly altered. This is Taurens that are altered. This is Orcs that are altered. However, I think this is really cool. Ultimately, what you get with these is you get heritage armor, you get a specific mount, and you have to do a reputation grind to get these. This is one of my favorite elements of the expansion. You could look at this as recycled content, but I choose to look at this as a worthwhile grind that does something to further my character's class identity, or rather, overall character fantasy. So I think it's cool. I like it a lot. A real Sergeant Tom, man. I can't read that last comment, but I think it's funny. Tips for beginners, asks Pablo. I would say, maybe I'm wrong here, but I would say start a character at level 1. Don't use your 110 boost right away. Kind of enjoy the full experience. James, have you seen the South Park World of Warcraft episode? Absolutely, Cyborg Man. My favorite one. Can I still play all the previous WoW games? Asks Maestro of Masters. I mean, you can play all the previous expansions, right? Like, so if we go out to Northrend, right? This is Wrath of the Lich King. We got Outland from Burning Crusade. So yeah, some of them are heavily altered, but you totally can. Let's see what we get. Ooh, Challengers of War Yeti. That's good. Good one. And they're upright orcs. That is correct. One love. Matthew Warren says, I feel like Call of Duty has lost their sense of innovation and are trying hard to find it again. I agree. Sampling too much from other successful titles like Overwatch and R6 Siege, and then adding a BR. Call of Duty is definitely very, very sensitive to what is happening outside of Call of Duty and trying to work it into its game, trying to do things like high mobility, wall jumping, wall running, and they're iterating. That's not a bad thing inherently, but I do think, like, yeah, the Call of Duty identity, what is it? Shooting people and killing people? You need something on top of that now. It needs to feel really good. And I think Black Ops 4 does feel pretty good, even if they're borrowing a little bit from Overwatch. Trying to get through these questions before we wrap up. How do you unlock the allied races? You have to become exalted with the particular faction, which requires a endgame character. And then you can start from level 1, and if you go from level 1 to all the way to level cap, you get heritage armor. You cannot boost, so it's a nice way to show that you actually played through the whole thing. Hello, James. Thank you for this great stream. My pleasure, Dan. Thank you so much for tuning in. Destiny, completely different, can't compare. Debatable. Okay, let's go to Twitch chat real quick. Come on, WoW could easily be ported to console, PS4, accepts mouse and keyboards. Sure, that's Blizzard's call. There's an enormous amount of work, I'm sure. I'm sure you're underselling the amount of work necessary to get it on console, but, you know, is this a game that console audiences would really dig? Who knows? Let's catch up on IGN chat as the last act. I did not like it at all in beta. This comes from Jasplun. I wish I had not pre-purchased it. Love WoW, just not BFA. I'm skipping this expansion, waiting for the next expansion. Glad Red Dead is out soon. Knight says, I'm re-rolling Dark Iron Pally and Legacy Armor is cool. I agree. Fire Mage has been really strong in BFA. If you're Mage fan, roll Fire. All right, folks. I think we're wrapping up. What do you think, Mitchell? Is this a good place for my character to log out for the rest of eternity in World of Warcraft? This unknown land. How depressing, dude. Here it is. Let's take one last look. This is Battle for Azeroth, Horde versus the Alliance, although it's told through the lens of a PvE context, which I don't think is nearly as interesting as PvP. Island expeditions, allied races, level 120 cap. Some cool stuff, but definitely more of the same if you've been into the previous World of Warcraft expansions. I'm James Duggan. This has been IGN Plays Live, presented by Disenchantment. Thank you so much for joining me for all things MMO, Anthem, Destiny, World of Warcraft related. You're already in the right place at IGN.